So, everybody's talking after Jalen's performance on Monday night about Tanner McKee. That's where we are. We are in the Philadelphia Eagles news cycle where we're all talking about the backup quarterback. And Joe DeCamara and the WIP Morning Show had Nick Sirianni on the show this morning. And Joe asked Coach Sirianni about the possibility of playing Tanner McKee. Here was what he had to say.
Is Jalen definitely your starter Sunday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a possibility later this season, if he continues to struggle, that you can make a change at the quarterback spot?
No, I think that's ridiculous. I think, Jalen Hurts, I know every time I go out in that field with Jalen Hurts as our quarterback, we have a chance to win the game. And that's something that's been proven. We've won a lot of football games. And again, we don't ever go into something and assign, this is a team game. This is the most ultimate team game. So when you win together as a team, you lose together as a team. It's never just one thing. I kind of said that, last week or the week before with Kevin, the same deal. And so I know every time I every time I walk out on that field and Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback, I have so much confidence that we can win every game and any game that we play and that we're in.
Well, that was an awfully long way to say no, but that is what Coach Sirianni said. So I was actually thinking about it this morning. I'm like, is this ridiculous? Like the idea of playing Tanner McKee. Are we just in that place where the starting quarterback's playing bad? We all think the backup quarterback will be better, the thing that normally happens, or is it something different? And I'm wondering to myself, like, is there a path toward playing Tanner McKee this year? Because I think it's an interesting discussion to have, and it is worth having the discussion. Here are the sort of different scenarios I was thinking about. The scenario one is if the organization, and we don't know this, we don't know what the organization thinks at all. If the organization is ready to move on from Jalen and they know it right now, I think they have a responsibility to play Tanner McKee to see how he handles the next 4 games. I think if you have already decided that this isn't our guy, I don't think they have, I don't know, but I think you have to play him. If they're unsure whether Jalen is the future, I think it's very, very dangerous to play Tanner McKee, almost to the point where you can't do it. Because if you think that Jalen might be the quarterback moving forward, you bench him for Tanner McKee, you probably lose Jalen moving forward. And then the other scenario, Ike, is where, like, if it's Sunday and they're playing against the Raiders and it's the middle of the second quarter and the Eagles haven't moved the ball and Jalen looks like he did on Sunday, do they do it to shake up Jalen, to try to wake him up? Sort of similar to the McNabb situation years ago where Donovan got benched. So I guess my question to you is this a real thing? Like, is there a scenario in which the Philadelphia Eagles decide this year, not due to injury, we're putting Tanner McKee in a football game?
No, I just think there's just absolutely no chance they should do that, and I think there's absolutely no chance they will do that. I don't think it's a ridiculous question. That's the time that we're in. I mean, let's face it. The whole fact that this team has been questioned the entire year, right? Like, and they're coming off winning the Super Bowl. So that lets you know the climate that we're in. Mm-hmm. So at some point, when you string together bad football games, particularly at the quarterback position, not saying it's been all his fault, but the fact that he hasn't done any much to help you out of this situation, people are going to start to question the play at that position. And being enamored with the backup quarterback is nothing new.
Yep.
And in this city,
yes,
where the backup quarterback brought you the first Super Bowl ever, you're going to get questions about the backup quarterback here quicker than you will anywhere else, because there's a certain belief that comes with bringing in the backup quarterback that's here that we'll never forget about. I get all of that. That's why I don't think it's a ridiculous question, even though the premise of the question seems somewhat ridiculous, considering Jalen Hurts' track record in this league, what he's done at the quarterback position. He hasn't been playing very good the last 3 weeks. I don't think that's debatable. But there's something to allowing someone to fight his way through those rough times. And he's earned the right to do that the same way they would if a receiver like A.J. or Devontae was out there dropping passes, the same way they've stuck with Jake Elliott, who's missing field goals. Like all of these things, because these guys have earned that right to be able to fight their way through that. Jalen Hurts has done that more than anyone, considering the position that he plays. He plays the most scrutinized position. He's under the most pressure every week from anybody else. So his play is always being dissected. And when you don't win, it becomes that greater of a deal to everyone. I understand all of that. He's our starting quarterback, and unless he's injured or there is a blowout in a game, whether they're winning or losing, he should be on the field as long as there is a chance to win the game. He should be on the field playing. Love Tanner McKee. Maybe we'll see someday what he looks like as a starting quarterback, but it shouldn't be and it won't be at the expense of Jalen Hurts. I don't care how bad this thing gets. He rides this thing all the way out. And unless they get eliminated somehow before the last game of the season.
I guess.
I don't know if it could happen, but.
I think it could.
But, yeah, so in other words, every game is going to matter the rest of the way.
Right.
And he's going to be in there as your starting quarterback as he should be the rest of the way.
215-592-9494. Is the idea of playing Tanner McKee this year realistic? What heightens the realistic point of it to me is the reports from inside. Jeff McClain had one that they're frustrated with, that Jalen's not listening to anyone. And then I think there's something to, on Sunday, them sort of opening up the playbook and it backfiring, and it almost shows everyone, hey, look, we could do this, but here's what happens if we do it. I'm
almost
really
as if it was exposing.
Yes, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like, look, we know there's other routes, And when we talk about the struggles, it's funny, like, even the games that they won out of the bye, the Green Bay game, they had one touchdown. Detroit game, one touchdown.
Yeah.
The Bears game, one touchdown.
Yeah.
The Chargers game, one touchdown.
Yeah.
And then the Cowboys game, 41 minutes without scoring after scoring 3 touchdowns right away. I mean, this is the sort of offensive inadequacy that we have not seen in a very, very, very long time, since the end of Carson, really.
Yeah.
All right, 215-592-9494. Is playing Tanner McKee a real scenario this year under any circumstances? I think there are circumstances where it makes sense. Ike says there are no circumstances where it makes sense.